Yeah, I mean, this is one of the most painful and perhaps confusing parts of covert narcissism is I remember back in the day, I would say to patients when they were going home, like for the holidays, you're returning to the scene of the crime. And they got it, like they knew what I meant. But when you grow up with a covert narcissistic parent, that's not always clear. In other words, it's not uncommon that you hear from these patients, I had a wonderful upbringing. My parent, let's just say prototypical case, my mother was always there for me. She was reliable. Even today, she'll still pick up the phone if I call, right? So there was no scene of the crime. There's no like bruises or explosive moments, so these are the things that go on scene, right? That's the whole word covert, but there is clearly a great deal of narcissism, but when they go on scene, that doesn't mean these things still do not get internalized. In other words, there are still consequences of growing up with this kind of parent that you bring with you into your adult life and adult relationships. And there are many, and there's so much literature out there, by the way, on covert narcissism. I won't go through all the different, because it's a whole different cluster of narcissism. So there are a lot of different ways that this presents. But
Mhm.
one way in particular that I hope we could focus on is this deep feeling that you carry around with you that you've done something wrong, that you feel guilty, or that you're too much of a burden, that you don't have a right to ask for certain things or assert yourself in certain ways, even as an adult, and not even with your parent, of course, with your parent, but just in life in general, I mean.
Mhm.
So that's one way that I begin to frame it. So no obvious crime scene, but yet an incredible amount of damage that you continue to carry with you today.
Mhm.